Hello. So if you like the content of this video and or previous videos, please like, subscribe, comment, and or share my YouTube page. I truly believe in the things that I say in these videos, and I truly believe that they are meant to be heard by people. I believe it's my calling. So by you liking, subscribing, commenting, and sharing my YouTube page, you make sure that the right people hear it. So thank you for playing your role in that goal, mission, my calling. Today's video is a complimentary one to my last message. And my last message, to summarize, was about how all of our desires, everything we want, we should have, we should actively pursue, and they are divinely supported. And today's video is about, that's awesome, that's great. How do I get from where I am to where I want to be? And what we'll talk about is how the path there is complicated, but also simple, and how to know what the next right step is. Before we dive into that though, I want to talk a little bit about what I mean by desires, wants. So what I mean is something very broad. I mean anything and everything. So for example, I want to reconcile with this person. I want more finances to provide for my family. I want my business to grow. I want to be healthier and thus I want to lose weight. Or something really big. I want to do God's will. I want to make the world a better place. So again, very big. Now, the path to these things is complicated. Anytime you read anybody who's been successful at anything or who's reached their goal, they always talk about how it was not a straight line to get there. From the spiritual perspective, you always hear faith. Just have faith. Just keep going. And the reason for the faith is because it's not clear how to get from where you are to where you're being led or to where you're going. And going back to these books about these people who are successful, what they talk about is how they take one step forward, two steps back, one step to the right, two steps to the left, diagonal, they do a little turnaround, then they keep going forward, then they keep going back, and it's just this interweb of steps that they would have never expected when they started on the journey, but that got them to where they needed to be. Now, I like to think of this as cheesy and hippie as this sounds, I like to think of this as a divine dance, right? It's not a straight line. It's a little bit here, a little bit there, and I just think that's kind of the way to enjoy it. Now, having said that, I think majority of us want to see a clear A, B, C, D before we will start. And if you are determined to see a clear A, B, C, D before you start, you will always stay stuck. And if you do happen to see a straight line path to your goal, I think one of two things is happening, and maybe they're connected. One, I think your goal might be too small, or two, it's not going to turn out the way that you think it is. So I'm going to give you an example from my own life. So as you can tell, I'm a deep thinker, I'm into psychology, I'm into philosophy, and I always thought that when I was younger, I thought that that meant I needed to be a therapist. So I had a very clear vision of what exactly I needed to do. I needed to do well in high school, I would do well in college, I would get my master's, and then I would be a therapist. And what I know now is that it didn't work out that way, because what I hear and what I feel deep down in my soul is that God, universe, spirit was saying, that is too small. I have something bigger in mind. That path was it was really clear, it was really obvious, it was really sequential, but it never felt right. It was always very draining. So I talked a lot just now about how the path is complicated, about how there's lots of curveballs, again, how there's lots of left and right and forward and back and diagonal and circle, but it's also very simple. And what do I mean by this? So what I mean by this is what I've been hearing over the past 3 months, which is just take the next right indicated step. Just take the next right indicated step. And what I feel, or what I felt over the past week is, okay, thank you. Just take the next right indicated step. That's great. What's the next step? And the answer to that is twofold. So the first thing comes from something that a therapist told me when I was younger, probably in my 20s. Doesn't matter my age. But she said the way to make the path clear is to make contact with the path. And the second thing that has been coming to me that's in alignment with this is the next right thing is always right in front of you, very simple, very manageable. So I'm going to give you an example from the book Eat, Pray, Love by Elizabeth Gilbert. So obviously there's a ton in that book that's really powerful, but what I remember the most is something that happens in the beginning. And in the beginning, she's having a really hard time with her husband. She's like, I don't know if I should divorce him. I don't know how to solve our problems. And if I divorce him, he's probably going to be so mad, and I don't want to disappoint him. And she's just really overwhelmed and really emotional. And it's like midnight, and she's in her bathroom, and she's on the floor, and she is bawling. She is just bawling. And she's saying, God, please tell me what to do. God, Spirit, Universe, tell me what to do. What should I do in this situation? Help me. Help, help, help. And what she hears is, get up off the floor, go to bed. It's midnight. Very simple, very clear, very right in front of her face. So what this also reminds me of is a show I used to watch. And in this show, there's this supernatural person, and he's in human form. But he tells everybody, yes, it looks like I'm in human form, but I'm a supernatural creature. And nobody really believes him. And they all kind of think it's a running joke. And at one point, another character tells him, gosh, one of these days, I'm going to figure out your secret. And he says, it's not a secret if I'm telling you. And this aligns with what I'm talking about. It's always right in front of you. Whether it be your intuition, whether it be God, whether it be spirit, nothing is there. It's not being hidden. It's straightforward. It's right in front of you. It's very easy. I'm going to give you an example from my own life this week. So me and my husband were at the airport, and my husband went to the bathroom. And I've been saying this prayer to myself, and so he left, and I started saying it to myself, and I said, God, use me for your will. What would you have me do? Where would you have me go? What would you have me say? And to whom? And so I'm sitting there by myself, repeating it to myself, and then all of a sudden this girl comes up and she says, hey, my phone's dead. Can I use your charger? And I said, yeah, sure. And so she says, cool, thank you so much. And then I'm going to tell you my story. And I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. But anyway, so first we tried to charge her phone, but the charger that I have doesn't work for her phone. So then she goes on to tell me all about her story, that she is flying to see her boyfriend who she just broke up with. He doesn't know that she's on her way. She's going to show up in the middle of the night, and basically just telling me her whole life drama and her problem, right? And I was like, okay, wow, I was just saying a prayer about God. What am I supposed to say and to whom? And here is this person, so I am supposed to say something. So I'm just in my head when she's talking to me, and I'm just thinking, what am I going to say? I don't want to encourage her, but I don't want to discourage her. How can I help her? I'm just not sure. And I'm just going on and on about what am I going to do? So anyways, so I talked to her for a little bit, and she, her flight starts boarding, and so she leaves. And I'm just like, oh, I don't know what I was supposed to do in that situation. I'm not so sure. Did I help her? Did I say the right thing? I don't know. And then all of a sudden I think, shit, I have another charger that would work for her. And that is what I was being called to do, because she's going to go to where she's going to go, and she's not going to have the phone to talk to people. And I had another charger, and I was so caught up in this big elaborate step of what I was being called to. But what I was really being called to was something very simple, something very manageable, something within my ability. God, universe, spirit was like, all I need you to do is give this person a charger so she has a phone when she gets to her destination, so she could call who she needs to call. I don't need you to be her savior. I don't need you to solve all her problems. Very simple, very straightforward, very in front of your face, right? Now, having said that, I'm going to talk about another story that happened this week. And I have notes just because so much stuff going on in my head that I don't want to forget. So what this reminds me of is something in the Bible, like what I'm talking about. And I'm about to quote the Bible. And as always, you don't have to believe in God. You don't have to believe in Jesus to get something out of the Bible. It's a book and it has really powerful messages, and use it that way if you don't believe in God. So in the Bible, it talks about how my yoke is easy and my burden is light. And so this aligns with what I'm talking about. Anything that we're called to, the next indicated step is always going to be easy and light. Very manageable. So to give you another example or another story from this week is I was thinking about somebody from my past who I had a falling out with, somebody that I used to know in college. And before I dive any deeper into this, yes, I have falling outs with a lot of people. Well, not a lot of people, but a number of people. And the same thing will keep showing up until you start reacting and doing something different. So it might be a different person that I keep having a falling out with, but it's in some ways the same person, the same pattern. So until I change that pattern, I'm going to continue to have falling outs. So anyway, so I had this falling out with this person, and I just, it's just really bugging me for some reason. And so he's on Facebook. So I was like, okay, cool, take the next right indicated step. I'm just going to add him on Facebook. But then he didn't respond. And so I said, okay, well, it's really bothering me. What should I do? And there was really nothing showing up. I was like, I'm talking about this lesson of take the next right indicated step, but I don't know what the right indicated step is. It's not clear. It's not right in front of my face. You said it would be right in front of my face, but it's not. So I used another technique in this situation. And I learned about this when I was doing some real estate coaching. And a coach said to me that when he's coaching other real estate agents and they say that they don't know what to do or they don't know what the next step is, he responds and says, okay, but if you did know, what would it be? And his reasoning behind that is that we always kind of know. We kind of always have an idea of what maybe I should do, right? And this is where the make contact with the path and it'll become clear. So in this situation, I was like, well, he didn't respond to my Facebook friend. What should I do? Maybe I should message him and just ask, right? And so I was like, oh, there it is. There's the missing piece. I'm going to message him and he's going to respond. And then we're going to reconcile. And then I'm going to have this video and I'm going to be like, see, everything works out. We reconcile. Happy story. This is what you do. This is the success story of the week. And he didn't message me back. And I can't tell if he has viewed it or not. But long story short, he didn't message me back. So then I was like, okay, what next? You said it was always right in front of me, and I did what I thought was right. I made contact with the path. What next? Two things. First is I had to get a little clearer on what it was that I was wanting. I was really choking the fact that I just want him to respond and I want to talk. But what I really wanted, like on a bigger level, is I want to think about people in my present and my past with love. I want any hard feelings of people from my past, I want them to feel good when they think about me, and I want to feel good when I think about them. I want peace. Okay, peace, first of all, doesn't require that he responds to me. I can get peace in another way. Sure, I tried the way of him responding to me, but he didn't, so I can find peace in another way. Now, the second thing is, a couple days later, I had tension with somebody in my day-to-day life, and I was at an impasse. I could do one of two things. I could take the path of bitterness, sticking to my story. She's wrong, I'm right. Fuck you, I'm never talking to you again. And I could repeat the same pattern that I was doing with this person who I was trying to reach out to that I had a conflict with 5-10 years ago. Or I could take a different path of we really love each other. We're having a disagreement. That doesn't mean that we can't still have healthy discussions and get through it and deepen our love for each other. And so what I was being called to when I was thinking about this person from my past, again, was something right in front of my face. It was with the person in my day-to-day life. That person that I'm trying to reconcile with was 10 years ago. He lives in another state. The next right step is a lot more in your face. What I was being called to was reconciliation with somebody in my day-to-day life. And ladies and gentlemen, I took the path of love and all is well. And so that is the actual happy story. Now, one last thing I want to say is in regards to a story that my dad used to tell me that really resonates with me that I think applies here. So in this story, there's this man and he's on a boat and there's this crazy storm and he has a hole in his boat and he's going to drown and his boat's going to sink. And so he's on the boat and he says, God, Spirit, universe, please, please, please help me. I need help. Right? So a few minutes later, this other gentleman on a bigger boat says, hey, let me help you. Get onto my boat. And the guy says, nope, 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 nope. God's coming for me. Thank you, though. I appreciate you. Thank you. But I'm good. So the other guy's like, okay, whatever. Like, I'm not going to drown with you. I'm going to leave. So he says, okay, God, I'm ready. Please save me. Then a few minutes later, this woman on a helicopter comes and she says, get on our helicopter. Let's get out of this boat. I don't want you to drown. Come on, come on. And he says, oh, no, 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 no. Thank you. I'm perfectly good. God is going to come and save me. And he drowns and he dies and he goes up to heaven or wherever he goes and he talks to God and he says, what the fuck, dude? I asked you to help me. I asked you to save me and you didn't. And God says, what are you talking about? I sent the man in the boat. I sent the woman in the helicopter. It was you who said no. And the lesson here is we think that the answer to our prayer, the next step is going to be this big God coming down from heaven and saving us. But it comes in smaller, more manageable, yoke is easy, burden is light forms. And I'm going to give you 3 examples from my week. So there's this person in my life who I really want to be happy. And I've been really thinking, how can I make sure that they are happy? How can I make sure that they're fulfilled? How can I contribute to them to the feeling like life has a purpose? And so they called me and I was like, oh, hey, but I need to work. So I'm going to talk with them while I'm on work. And God, I just don't know. How can I help this person? God, why are you trying to my prayer? Why can't I help this person? Oh, look, I need to also pay attention to the video while he's talking to me. And God's like, hello, all I need you to do is when they call to give them your undivided attention. That's the first, only, next, right indicated step. That's all you need to do. Here's another example. I had a shift in my business this week and I had a mini panic attack. And I said, God, universe, spirit, please help me. Like I need to fill this position fast. I need to make sure that everything works out good. Like I just need quickly, I need answers. I need to feel safe. Please make me feel good. Please help things move fast. So I found somebody and I said, when can you talk? And they said, I can talk tomorrow. And I was like, oh no, I can't talk tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday. Maybe I can talk next weekend or the weekend after. And then I was like, what am I doing? I asked for the role to be filled and I asked for it to be filled quickly and somebody is saying that they can talk to me right away and I'm saying no. Whew. Another thing I've been asking is, God, universe, spirit, I really want to spend more time with my family. I want to spend quality time with my family. I want to be present. And my sister texted me and she said, hey, I can come over with the kids on Tuesday. And my first thought was, oh no, Tuesday won't work because I have to do work that day. So maybe she can come, but like not with her kids, or maybe we could do it next weekend. And God is like, hello, I'm giving you what you want and you're the one saying no. And here's what I think. When building an empire, you have to build it brick by brick. So when we ask for an empire, we forget that it's going to be given to us brick by brick. We expect a full-on building empire to be given, but instead it's given in the little day-to-day things that we miss that again are right in front of us. So, to summarize, yes, the path is not a straight line, but the next step is always in front of you. It's always easy. It's always manageable. My yoke is easy. My burden is light. Have a good day.